2003-04 South Pacific Cyclone Season. The 2003-04 South Pacific cyclone season was a below-average season, with only 3 tropical cyclones occurring within the South Pacific to the east of 106°E. The season officially ran from November 1, 2003 to April 30, 2004, with the first disturbance of the season forming on December 4 and the last disturbance dissipating on April 23. This is the period of the year when most tropical cyclones form within the South Pacific Ocean. During the season, at least 16 people were killed from tropical disturbances, whilst overall damage was estimated at $218 million 2004 USD, $299 million 2022 USD. The most damaging tropical disturbance was Cyclone Heta, which caused at least $211 million 2004 USD, $289 million 2022 USD in damage. The deadliest tropical disturbance of the season was Tropical Depression 10F, which was responsible for 11 deaths and caused $2.74 million 2004 USD in damage. Cyclone Ivy also caused 2 deaths and caused $4.17 million 2004 USD, $5.72 million 2022 USD worth of damage to Vanuatu. As a result of the impacts caused by Heta and Ivy, the names were retired from the tropical cyclone naming lists. Within the South Pacific, tropical cyclones are monitored by the Regional Specialized Meteorological Center RSMC in Nadi, Fiji, and the Tropical Cyclone Warning Center TCWC in Wellington, New Zealand. RSMC Nadi attaches a number and an F suffix to tropical disturbances that form in or move into the South Pacific. The United States Joint Typhoon Warning Center JTWC issues unofficial warnings within the South Pacific, designating tropical cyclones with a number and a P suffix. RSMC Nadi and TCWC Wellington both use the Australian Tropical Cyclone Intensity Scale and measure wind speeds over a period of 10 minutes, while the JTWC measures sustained winds over a period of 1 minute and uses the Saffir Simpson Hurricane Scale. Seasonal summary. Systems. Severe tropical cyclone Heta. Cyclone Heta developed in the South Pacific Ocean and reached cyclone-force winds on January 1, 2004. It struck the island of Niue with a much more direct blow on January 6. Heta's eye wall hit Niue almost exactly at the height of the storm's power. It caused extensive property damage throughout the island, and 2 people were killed. Efforts to rebuild from the storm in Niue lasted almost the entire year of 2004. Heta caused American Samoa to declare a state of emergency, officially a declaration of emergency in American Samoan law, on January 7, and even though officially the storm never made landfall there, it necessitated the emergency evacuation of 140 people and was responsible for property damage. The nation of Tonga was also affected by Heta, as the winds swept away trees that were needed for the country's food supply. However, Tonga did not receive a direct hit or suffer such extensive loss as Niue. Severe tropical cyclone Ivy, numbered 5F, existed between February 21 and February 28. Caused heavy damage in Vanuatu. Tropical Depression 6F, formed on March 20, dumped heavy rainfall in Vanuatu. Tropical Cyclone Grace entered the region from the west on March 23, became extratropical the next day, designated as 7F by Nadi. Tropical Depression 8F existed between March 28 and April 1. Tropical Depression 9F existed between April 1 and April 3. Tropical Depression 10F existed between April 6 and April 9. The storm was given the number 22P by the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. It was responsible for causing severe flooding to Fiji and 11 deaths. Damage from the flooding was estimated at $2.06 million. Tropical Depression 12F formed on April 7, later caused severe flooding in Fiji. Tropical Depression 13F. During April 11, a weak tropical low moved into the South Pacific Basin from the Australian region and was designated as Tropical Disturbance 13F by RSMC Nadi later that day. Other systems. The first numbered tropical disturbance of the season developed within a large area of atmospheric convection on December 4 to the northwest of the Fijian dependency of Rotuma. During that day, the depression slowly moved west before it was classified as a weak tropical depression during the next day. The system subsequently weakened and lost its organization because of moderate to strong vertical wind shear and was last noted during December 6. Tropical Disturbance 2F was first noted by the FMS during December 16, within an environment conducive for further development about 340 km 210 mi to the west of Honiara in the Solomon Islands. Over the next few days, the system remained poorly organized and slow-moving within an area of moderate vertical wind shear, before it was last noted by the FMS during December 20, as it entered the Australian region. Tropical Disturbance 4F was subsequently first noted within a broad area of low pressure by the FMS, while it was located on the border with the South Pacific Basin, about 100 km 60 mi to the south of Honiara in the Solomon Islands. The system was located in a moderate area of vertical wind shear and was poorly organized with atmospheric convection confined to the system's eastern semicircle. The system subsequently moved southeastwards and remained poorly organized before it was last noted by the FMS later that day while it was located to the south of San Cristobal Island. During April 6, the FMS reported that Tropical Depression 11F had developed within a monsoon trough about 140 km 85 mi to the northeast of Suva in Fiji. Over the next day, the system moved southeastwards towards Tonga before it was last noted by the FMS later that day, while it was located about 300 km 185 mi to the southwest of Tongatapu in Tonga. On April 18, RSMC Nadi reported that Tropical Disturbance 15F had developed within the monsoon trough about 515 km 320 mi to the northeast of Nuku'alofa in Tonga. During that day, the disturbance moved through the Tongan archipelago before it was last noted later that day. During April 22, the FMS reported that Tropical Disturbance 15F had developed around 500 km 310 mi to the northeast of Honiara in the Solomon Islands. Over the next couple of days, the system remained poorly organized and near stationary to the northeast of the Solomon Islands before it was last noted during April 24. Season effects. This table lists all the storms that developed in the South Pacific to the east of longitude 106° during the 2003-4 season.